Just 6 days ago, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, a weapon was unveiled that has just made modern tanks obsolete. This is not speculation. This is not military theory. This is happening right now, today, as you listen to these words. The Shalfa strike weapon system was showcased at the 2026 World Defense Show. This is not just any arms fair. 925 exhibitors from 80 countries. 273,000 square meters of cutting-edge military technology. And on February 9th, the General Authority for Military Industries of Saudi Arabia unveiled something that changed everything. 700 millimeters. This is the number you need to remember. 700 millimeters of armor penetration. To put this in perspective, imagine the frontal armor of an M1 Abrams tank, considered one of the most protected armored vehicles in the world. 600 to 700 millimeters of hardened steel, designed to withstand high-velocity guns and guided missiles. The German Leopard 2, similar protection. The Russian T-90, same range. Now imagine a weapon the size of a portable missile that goes through all of that like it's cardboard. There's nowhere to hide. No armor is enough. The 60-ton tank that cost $9 million, pierced. But it's not just about penetration capability. The Shalfa strike is not a conventional missile launched from a ground vehicle or a helicopter. It's a weapon integrated into a drone. Specifically, the Turkish tactical UAV Karayel. This is not a small commercial quadcopter retrofitted. It's a military platform designed and developed in partnership between Saudi Arabia and Turkey, capable of flying several kilometers out, staying aloft for hours, locating armored targets, and then striking with lethal precision. Here's what makes this so disturbing. The hunter and prey dynamic flips. Traditionally, tanks ruled the battlefield. Heavy armor, massive firepower, solid mobility. Infantry? Gone. Fortified positions? Leveled. Other armor? Destroyed in a head-to-head fight. Tanks set the rules of ground combat. Now, the Shalfa strike flips that. The tank becomes prey. Stuck on the ground, locked by terrain, exposed from above, can't hide from a drone that circles above it, waits, watches, and strikes when it's ready. And here's the part that makes this even more alarming: the cost. Estimating the exact cost of a system like the Shalfa strike is difficult without official data, but we can make reasonable inferences. Tactical military drones of similar class, like the Turkish Bayraktar TB2, cost in the range of $1 to $5 million per unit, including ground control systems. Precision anti-tank guided munitions, like the Hellfire missile, cost around $100,000 to $150,000 each. The Shalfa strike is just the tip of the iceberg. It competes with a tank on price, but it signals something far more dangerous: efficiency. The Karayel is high-end, sure, but the tech is getting cheaper every day. That's where the real imbalance kicks in. Here's the nightmare scenario. You're a military planner. Your budget? $900 million. You can buy 100 M1 Abrams tanks. Or your enemy can buy thousands of cheap attack drones, entire swarms of them. Mathematically, you've already lost before the war begins. For every tank you put on the battlefield, the enemy has 20 drones waiting. You're not fighting a war. You're hemorrhaging money. You might think, okay, it's just one weapon from one country. An outlier, not a real trend. Wrong. In 2025, Serbia showed the Osaka at Partner Defense Expo. A 7-kilogram kamikaze drone built to destroy tanks. 7 kilos. You can pack it like a backpack. Autonomous. 60-minute flight time. Finds targets on its own using cameras. Then dives onto the tank's roof or side the weak spots and detonates. 7 kilos. Backpack gear. Destroys a 60-ton tank. And it's not just new weapons. The defensive systems that came next prove the threat is real. October 2025, the U.S. Army rolled out Bullfrog to its armored units. It's basically an automated turret on Abrams tanks and Bradleys, designed to detect and shoot down enemy drones before they strike. Think about that. The U.S. Army, the biggest defense budget on the planet, is now mounting anti-drone turrets on tanks. They wouldn't do that if the threat wasn't real. Not a chance. Ukraine. Since the Russian invasion started in February 2022, cheap FPV drones, many built from parts you can buy online, have destroyed hundreds, maybe thousands of Russian tanks. You can watch it happen on video. Drone's eye view. A $500 quadcopter with a grenade dives into a $2 million T-72's hatch. Fireball. $500 wins against $2 million. Every time. But this isn't the first time armor has been rendered obsolete. The history of war is an endless arms race, and there's a pattern that repeats. World War II. German panzers dominated. Heavy armor, devastating firepower, blitzkrieg that shattered armies in weeks, looked unstoppable. Then came the bazooka. One infantryman, one trench, one 40-ton tank destroyed. Game over. The 1960s, the Soviet RPG-7, made by millions, shipped everywhere. Suddenly, any guerrilla in Vietnam, any fighter in Afghanistan could carry anti-tank firepower. Armor busting wasn't exclusive to superpowers anymore. The 1990s, javelin, fire and forget, autolocks, strikes from above where armor is thin, 90% plus kill rate, costs a fraction of the tank it destroys. Now we get to drones. The latest round in this endless cycle. Weapon beats armor. Armor adapts. Weapon evolves. This time, it's different. Drones aren't just another anti-tank tool. They change how ground war works. World War I. Before tanks, cavalry, infantry, artillery, trenches for hundreds of miles. Bloody stalemate. Then 1916. The British introduced tanks. Slow, unreliable, vulnerable at first. But they crossed barbed wire, crossed trenches, shrugged off machine guns, changed everything. Not overnight. Over a few years, military doctrine rebuilt around the tank. A century later, we're watching it happen again. Drones are doing to tanks what tanks did to cavalry, making them obsolete. Not instantly, but inevitably. So, if the threat is real, if it's global, if it's already happening on real battlefields, what's the response? How are militaries around the world dealing with it? The answer will surprise you. The short answer is, they're struggling to keep up. And this is not a criticism. It's the brutal reality of how military institutions operate. You're a general. 30 years building expertise in tank warfare. Trained thousands in tank tactics. Oversaw billions in equipment buys. Your whole career, your reputation, your identity, it's built on tanks winning. Then someone says, it's all obsolete. $5,000 drones just made your 30-year career irrelevant. What do? Admit 30 years of study is worthless? Shut factories, kill tens of thousands of jobs, cancel billion-dollar contracts? Nearly impossible. There's a saying, generals always fight the last war. That's what's happening now. Armies worldwide keep pouring money into new tanks. Russian T-14 Armata, South Korean K-2 Black Panther, British Challenger 3, advanced machines, reactive armor, active protection, cutting-edge guns, tens of millions each to build, every single one vulnerable to a drone costing a few thousand. Why? Doctrine hasn't shifted. Procurement plans were locked in years. Decades ago. Factories, jobs, lobbies, political pressure, all feeding tank production. Admitting the tank, the symbol of land power, since 1916 is obsolete means admitting decades of strategy and trillions in spending were wrong. No institution does that. The battlefield doesn't care about institutional feelings. Eventually, armies that refuse to adapt get beaten by those that do. We're seeing it happen now. Look at Ukraine. They're desperate, outnumbered, no budget to match Russia. So they improvised. Commercial drones. Modified them with explosives, quick operator training. Used them not just to see where Russians were, but to kill their tanks. It worked. Messy, costly, but enough to slow Russian armor, destroy hundreds of vehicles, force Russia to change tactics. Now comes the new arms race. Not tanks versus guns. Drones versus counter-drones. Bullfrog? One example. Israel built Drone Dome to stop drone swarms. Russia's jamming drone signals with electronic warfare. China's building drone killer drones to intercept enemy drones in flight. The problem with counter-drone systems? They're always behind. It's like swatting wasps with a baseball bat. You get one, maybe two. But while you're focused there, 50 more come from everywhere else. You're shooting at something small, fast, flying low, blending in, flying on its own without radio signals. Like hitting a mosquito with a rifle. In the dark. While it keeps moving. Possible? Yes. Easy? No. Reliable under combat stress, when 10 mosquitoes are coming at once. Questionable. Then there's the numbers problem. 1 drone? You shoot it. 2? Maybe. 10? Good luck. $55,000 drones attacking your $9 million tank? Target saturation. Your defenses get swamped. Even if you shoot down 90% of them, the other 10% destroy your tank. You spent $1 million on ammo to stop 45 $5,000 drones. Tank's gone anyway. Here's where it gets dark. If tanks aren't the backbone of ground power anymore, the whole global balance shifts. For decades, military power meant money. How much you could spend on tanks, planes, carriers. Ukraine never beat Russia's tank count. Israel never matched Iran's army size. Small countries always lost to superpowers. Drones changed that. Serbia, budget under $1 billion a year, built the Osika-A kamikaze drone that kills tanks. Turkey, not a superpower, leads in military drone tech. Iran, strangled by sanctions, makes Shahid drones shipped to Russia and the Middle East. Not the U.S., not China. Mid-tier countries with small budgets. Now they have weapons that can destroy an M1 Abrams, a Leopard 2, a T-90. The weaker side can now destroy the stronger side for pennies on the dollar. Pure asymmetric power. It changes everything strategically. Small country facing invasion from a bigger power with thousands of tanks? Traditionally, you lose. Now, you can build or buy thousands of anti-tank drones for a fraction of the cost, wipe out their armor advantage. No guarantee of victory, but invasions get expensive, risky, not worth it.